Hello, I'm back again to do an update for the twin flames. Those of you who are new, welcome. I've been having some emails in relation to the twin flame journey, and there's two pockets of energies coming through. So some people are feeling unhinged and some people are like, yeah. So I'm going to do two, and that's so you guys can actually have a look into how to get yourself grounded. Now, I have been doing... The reason I haven't been on as much is because I've been doing some research into something that I've noticed. Now, we have asteroid Juno in our hemisphere, or we're currently dealing with that. And that directly links to soulmates, your soul contracts. And at the moment, it is present during the Venus retrograde. So it is going to be relevant, connected to your soulmate twin flame journey. Now, generally, when you're looking into the aspects of your astrology, what you find is you need to look at several places in the house to actually dictate what's going to go on. And one will be an aspect of how your romance, how you look at your romance and how you relate to your romance. The other will be more what you will be given connected to your soul path. So it sort of comes in two shapes and forms. So I will do a video separate to that because it's quite in depth, and that'll give you a bit of an understanding of what's going on. I can mention a bit of it in the here and now, and that's more related to the cycle. Now, with the cycle of Juno, Juno is theoretically married to Jupiter. So Jupiter and Juno in transit at the moment are working together a bit like masculine and feminine. Now, generally speaking, we look at Venus houses, the romance and the connection between souls and twin flames. Juno, in fact, is directly linked more so to the twin flame collective. So, if you are doing a chart, you can do that yourself. You will see the aspects of Juno and where the placement is. And that is going to tell you about your style and what you are. Now, when I did mine, it was quite funny because my Juno is in Libran, which means I need to get to a point where I can actually be a Libran, which is really funny. So connected to my romance house and how I relate, what I needed to learn on my soul path was more accepting back, really, because really the scales for me personally in my twin flame journey and my evolution of my spiritual growth was more connected to me getting into a balance and realizing that no, you can't change a person, but you can have that as, hey, that's my benchmark, that's what my that's what my needs and desires are. So think of Libran, for instance, can be family orientated, balance of give and take, loves mental communication, so all aspects really, but enough talking about me. Now, when it does come down to Juno, what I'm seeing in the transit at the moment for twin flames and soulmates is that the cycle started around February. Now, usually consummation, direct contact in February be entered, but we entered into a karmic cycle. So this karmic cycle started in March. So a lot of feminines might have got to a point where with their twin flame journey, masculine or feminine, however it relates, may have come out of reunion, and into a, I wouldn't say runner chaser, but that depends on what wave you are. Yes, you can fall into that bracket. The second wave would have turned into the separation mode, where you're doing your own personal growth and work. Others of you who are further back might have gone into the run chase mode. Those of you who were doing the spiritual... Oh, thank you, Antonella. Others of you who were doing more the spiritual transformation as per se, you're getting more grounded and you're focusing on yourself and a lot of purging, because a lot of us are going through that spiritual awakening at the moment. So with Juno, from March, a lot of people would have had breakups, going into karmic cycles, karmic patterns, evolving and purging. From that, the end time of the Juno cycle from mythology actually falls to December. Now, at the moment, especially if you go listen to the Astrology King, he mentions the aspects of Juno. Now, again, I am doing more research into Juno, as I said, and I'll do a separate video. But that cycle ends and bumps over again to February for, what would you say, another round. Now, with the aspects of Juno at the moment, what you find is, depending on how far away they are in the transit, so at the degree ratio, when it's zero, when certain planets hit the 0 degree, if you've learned your karmic pattern or within that cycle of what you're currently doing, aspectly so, when it hits 0 degrees, generally it can be a reset button. Now, when you look at it from a karmic point of view and a spiritual growth point of view, when you get the reset button, if you haven't evolved beyond that point, and that's in your 3D life, it doesn't have to be twin, it's everything, right? Because with being a twin, in general, you're a twin, it's your spiritual path of how you're growing. If you haven't passed, then that reset button can be a tower moment. So look at your 3D life. Any triggers that are coming up, you can directly apply them into your life, and that can actually help you move forward. Hello, Giggle. Giggle doesn't sleep. A lot of us, you know, some people are purging at the moment. So with the purging cycle, a lot of the energy you're getting is masculine energy. You might see on a 3D level that they're doing great, and, you know, you're like, nah, it's not them. There is still quite a heavy energy for a lot of people. So go gentle on yourself when you're moving through. The thing is, when you look at it, when you're operating from a place of triggers, it's the ego, and it's okay to be in that frequency. The ego is attacking your chakras. Look at it that way. So it's really attacking you. It's knocking you for 6. So it's feeling tight. You've got to look at the fact that we have been going in a retrograde for a year. Hi, NZ. So I will pull some cards, but as I said, there's 2 groups at the moment with the collective of the twin flames. Oh, shit. I've been talking to Giggle about the twin flame journey, and she's not having the greatest day, so big hugs for Giggle. Hi, Mike, how are you? Now, so from the aspects of Juno, what we will find is between March and December, that is a karmic cycle being wrapped up. Now, it's ironic that it's landing with Jupiter and Saturn going direct, where Saturn is Juno's father. Now, you can theoretically look at Juno as similar to the aspect of Adam and Eve, but she is the judge, okay? So if she has grown to the point where she has got her aspects all correct, that can be, you know, her ascension, her higher knowing, her spirituality, balance inside her body with her yin and her yang. And then it comes to the third part. Now, Juno comes in necessarily so when the aspects of masculine energy is not balanced. And that is, if you research mythology, I'm not pissing in your pocket, it actually specifies such. So we've got to remember, though, feminines, we have masculine inside ourselves too. So we may be purging the aspects of our masculine side inside our soul, which is causing a direct trigger at the moment. So try and be gentle with yourselves if you are purging, because it may feel rough. Now, those of us who are more balanced, what are we needing to look at? What do we need to know? How are we all anyway? I'm going out shortly, so I thought I'd give a quick weekend update. I am going to do the video connected to Juno more, and I'll go into more detail into it. But it is going to be heavy from now through to the 27th, and it's funny because both Giggle and I were researching the placement of Juno, and all the way up to the 27th, it does reach the 0 degree point. So it does... Juno is feminine energy. It is ruled by the moon. So, you know, your feminine aspects are going to get triggered. They're going to be amped up. You're going to have to really try and keep grounded. You're really going into intuition. But, of course, due to the journey of your spiritual path in your life, there might have been a lot of triggers with you actually trusting your intuition. And that's masculine and feminine. It's more that aspect of your vulnerability and you directly trusting your intuition. So it feels very scary because we're almost feeling like, oh my gosh, you know, am I going to trust my intuition? You know, some of us also are looking at our finances and thinking, gee, we're so tired, you know, can we really take on more? For me personally, to keep my energy fresh, I've decided to get a 2-day-a-week job, which will keep my energy fresh, give me exercise with human beings, not just my cat, and a television. So I'll quickly see what you guys are feeling, and then I'll get tucked into the reading. Those of you who are new, welcome. And I will start to do soulmate videos for those of you who wish to look into soulmate connections as well. How are we all? I'm going for a barbecue. Oh, we're talkative today, aren't we? Well, that will be their energy to deal with, sweet. Don't get triggered by it. If that's what they feel, just go, sweet. You can't make a person feel worthy. That's the reality. So unless that person chooses to feel worthy, that's an inadequacy within them. We can't stay the same, none of us, be it twin flame or not. Hi, Carmen. So, you know, we can get in our ego and say, oh, you know, they don't feel enough, or, oh, nothing's ever going to change. Nothing ever stays the same forever. I'm not the same. I'm not the same person. I wish I could, like, lie and say I'm the same. I'm not the same person. I'm still a cow, but I mean, I was worse years ago. So, hey, I'm not the same. So if that's their energy and that's their feeling, if anything, they're just admitting to the fact that they have some work to do. And that's fine. Be understanding, be compassionate, be loving, and, you know, let them do the work. And you'll be like, yeah, that's cool. Hey, Carmen, I understand. Now, let's have a look at the ones of you who are feeling more grounded. And the ones that we'll do the ones who aren't so grounded at the moment. Okay, the ones of you who are feeling rich, there's still an aspect of the detachment that's going on, right? So you're looking at them and thinking, I wish I could swear sometimes. I mean, really swear. You bleep, you know, are you changing? Are you evolving? Is it me doing all the work here? Is it like what? That's what I'm hearing, okay? Number 11 card, you're focusing on, and the reason is because you're going through the ringer, and in that moment you're feeling quite vulnerable. You're thinking of the reality and you're thinking, you know what? I just wish I had a bit of support and love from my twin flame. I just wish they could give me a hug. I wish they could be here with me right now. Is this ever going to change? It's frightening, okay? So it's your crowning energy right now. Well, it's your crowning energy right now. Now, moving into it, interesting. You're thinking a cycle is never going to end, okay? This is your 3D belief system. But it can be your ego speaking. It can be the exhaustion due to the journey. But the reality is in clarity, in knowing, you know, you have a spiritual connection. So it's like you're letting go, you're not letting go. You're letting go, you're not letting go. But the heart chakra is being activated, okay? It's a crazy feeling. Whereas when you do get to the stage that you are in total release, and look, a lot of people are getting frustrated because in the release, you know, I've had 3 to 4 ins and outs with my twin flame journey. I've also had partners, right? I've had a life. I didn't know anything about twin flames till 2 years ago. So I was never in the ego connected to, this is a twin flame and this is what I'm going to rule my life by. I never do, and I never have, and I never will. But knowing it has helped me be aware and understand the aspects more so. So it was kind of handy not to know. But they're not going to face me. So I do understand when we say the release aspect, right? When it naturally comes about, it does just naturally come about. Now, there's stages of it. Now, at the moment, you're at the very end stage of the release. Now, the release can be an aspect of the ego. It feels unnatural because the fear connected to it, which is ego-based, is saying to you, if I truly let go, you're jumping back into those egoic fears that are controlling you, and that's due to the ascension. A lot of the solar flares that have been coming down have been extremely heavy on us. A person sent me through some information. Thank you. I have been aware of the actual solar flares and how heavy they have been. This impacts you as well. So the fatigue and then the anxiety, I've even had messages from people that I know in my 3D life has been to the point of just wanting to top themselves. And I don't like saying that, but, you know, I understand the frequency. It's very heavy. So, you know, when you're getting triggered, understand that, yes, this frequency is going to end. It is a very unnatural, horrible way of feeling within your life. And this is masculines and feminines, guys. This isn't just feminines, because we are both yin and yang. So energetically, those of you who are a bit afraid of letting go, that if you let go of whatever's happening in your 3D life or your twin flame or the control, I kept hearing before I did the reading, almost like you physically feel if you let go of the steering wheel, where will it end up? Letting go of control, you know, and not being able to balance the good and the bad inside yourself. And I'm not saying bad. I mean, we're human, right? But it's more letting go of the control-related issues to a point that you trust that, yes, it's divinely guided, but still taking accountability for what you can in your 3D life deal with. So that's very important as well. So don't be on your so don't the aspect of the ego in fear that if you do let go, it means the connection is gone. That's different. You need to let it go. Clarification, death, end. The end of, it can be codependent frequencies. Thinking that if you stare something a particular way, feeling if you let go that it's going to end. It's the end of the behavior. It's the end of the frequency. Hi, Laurie. It's the end of one old karmic chapter in a cycle and the beginning of a fresh new, it's a fresh new beginning. But, you know, that's why you're feeling these triggers, is because there's a restart coming. But what you can't see in your 3D life is you're thinking it's never going to end. But the confirmation is yes. Once the ascension has reached its peak of where your cycle is with your aspect of your ascension, not everyone in this lifetime will ascend totally. Many can. But if you're really blocked with your chakras, it can shut the ascension aspects down. If you're open, and even with people that trigger you, that's healthy. It can unblock the chakras. So don't avoid situations. Now, I'm not saying be in harm's way, but don't feel you've got to white light yourself to the point where the boogeyman's going to come and get you, because that prevents your spiritual growth. If you have that frequency that you're not safe, in fact, you're not safe, because it's showing a shadow side of yourself that you're not safe. And the middle card is your shadow self. It's coming up in your fear-based energies. And it can be where you're having aspects of projection back at other people, where you're thinking, you're seeing something in another person that directly relates to you or reflects you, but when we're in that aspect and we're feeling overwhelmed, we might be turning to twin, we might be turning to other people, or seeing other 3D situations trigger us. Like, okay, you'll laugh. My daughter has a romance and I don't. I actually think it's amusing though. I'm like, cool. Merely an example. Okay, world card. What do we need to know about this? Okay, guys. Now, your final card for those of you who are really blocked is you need to have some downtime, okay? Get grounded. Have some time out. The time is coming. Now, what number's that? 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. You're going to get the end, but you need to ground yourself and have a bit of time where you focus on a positive aspect. If you need to purge. Hi, Heidi. But if you can, try and shift your focus. The other day I got triggered and I was like thinking back in the past, and I won't go into details or anything because it's not relevant really, but it was like, oh, you know, don't want to be there. And I started feeling a little bit triggered, and then I was looking forward and I was like, wow, that's profound. And it was more the fear-based energy of it, which was egoic energy. And then I did some breathing exercises and I'm like, you are here right now and present, and everything is perfect as so. So it's being in the moment and looking at your life and finding an aspect of gratitude. But you're going to find when you're really tired, especially since a lot of people this week have not been sleeping, it's going to be very problematic. Now, in the world of change, be it your masculine, you inside yourself wondering whether you're going to have the strength to be a soldier, or masculine feeling if he can even own that energy, it's still the same. This is why these style readings are helpful, for you to show the yin and yang within you and what is physically happening with your twin. In their life, they probably are feeling aspects of inadequacy, or maybe even reflecting on that and frustrated about that, of what they feel is a man. For you personally, you might be looking at your strength energies and thinking, why do I have to be the female and the male? Why do I always have to have, try and be that? And it may be that you're using too much of that energy at the moment and you're getting fatigued. So to balance your masculine energy out, it might be that you need to do more feminine things to give the masculine frequency a break, or try and work on the chakras. But I'm hearing rest is required. If you can't, and it's due to 3D situations going on, move with the frequency, it will move. Now, when it comes to the aspect of your shadow self, it is connected to twin. It's a number 1. It's of consistency, okay? I had to cut them off. They haven't been done correctly. I've got to go to the salon, but I've done them as I broke them, so it's called Sloppy Joe. Anyway, enough about that. So with your twin, it might be you're looking at it and you're saying, hey, where's the consistency at? But if you guys are consistent within your life, it might be that you need to look at your life and go, okay, where are the flaws in my personal plan? And regardless, when you balance yourself, it does help situations around balance, but it helps you come back to self, come back to oneness, so that you can get to a point where you're feeling whole. Now, the frustration is at the moment on your 3D path is you haven't quite seen the consistency. And due to that, it's triggering the ego, it's triggering your sight of it. But what's happening is your energy is still in past, not in present, so you're still purging the past, which is problematic. So you're basing an assessment based on a past tense scenario. So in that frequency, what happens is it makes it complicated. If theoretically, energetically, we telepathically communicate with energies around us, the signal you're physically sending out is, I don't believe that you can change. I don't believe you can evolve. So in them responding to that will be, well, you haven't heard me out before I can communicate, before I can show you. Now, it's not on our time frame of when they are going to evolve. It's on their time frame. It's a bit like thinking that both masculine and feminine are sick and they're in the hospital and you're looking at them saying, but I need you to be this. But, I haven't seen the consistency. But think of it that they're healing because they're going through the ascension. They're going through a transformation, okay? So it's a caterpillar in a cocoon. You're not flying. Why aren't you flying? Because it hasn't come out of its cocoon stage. Now, there's various cocoon stages through the twin flame journey. So if you're basing it on the entirety, yeah, it's taken a long time. If you're just basing it on current tense energies, it's transforming. This year's been hard. Let's base it just in the here and now right now. So you don't want to shoot yielders. Okay, now when it comes to your connection, if you're operating from the heart, forgive yourself or release, but that's going to come about naturally in your own healing time, okay? It's not... And I've even talked to different people about this. If your twin was to come to you, how would you directly relate? And it really does depend on where you are on your spiritual path with your transformation. Remember, with these purging cycles and healing, there are 7 stages of healing. So when you're not in that frequency, it's very hard to see the light of how that will be. So do consider yourself and be to the point where you're accepting of each day of where you are and do that purging process. But there is going to be communication. Now, if you can see the light between the 2 heads, it can be telepathic or heart-related communication or physical 3D communication, okay? Those of you who are feeling more grounded this weekend, you're going to be basing your frequencies and energies on integrity. So you're really looking to the point, which 8 has been coming up quite a bit for certain pockets of twins, where you're really understanding the never-ending story connected to cosmic love. So you're more in your grounded energy when it comes to your heart chakra, your telepathic spiritual connection. You also are picking up on frequencies of your Kundalini moving. Well, people, their intent and their energies are, and you're getting spirit animals coming towards you. Now, as you see in this, which Carmen and I have been saying this quite a bit, a lot of birds, right? So these birds that are coming through, I saw a stork on the roof yesterday. Carmen then sent me 2 photos, which then became, an aspect of me visually seeing it, because it was swans. I think it was swans, Carmen, wasn't it? And it was that bird as well, the same thing as what I'd seen. But there have been a lot of birds, and I do have a feather that came to me the other day. So when you see bird feathers, it actually asks you to stop and meditate, but it can be your spirit animal guide. Now, this group of you, geese as well, yeah. Birds in general. Now, strength. A lot of this group is interesting. I mean, theoretically, when you look at the strength card, it can be that you're saying to yourself, see, I got a crow, hello. You're looking at it and you're saying, I'm so tired. But the energy and the frequency I'm picking up with this has nothing to do with that. Crows are my spirit animal. Now, when I'm hearing the strength, it's that you guys are releasing. You're releasing, you're letting go, you're trusting in the path, and you're just really in touch with yourself at the moment. But again, it can come back to ebbs and flows, but I'm feeling this group of you are very grounded. Not to say you're not tired, not to say you're not having tower moments, but you're taking accountability, you're looking at what you need to do, you're moving through your spiritual transformation. And look, twins, you can fall in both groups in ebbs and flows. Masculine or feminine, however it is, in either group. So you may take certain aspects in this group and certain aspects in the other, or you can take both. But many of us are coming into this, and those of you who are in the other group will end up moving into this group regardless, where you're understanding you don't need to force the fact, you don't need to did in a previous tense to try and get the connection back. If it's, it's going to come about in a natural ebb and flow of what's supposed to be for you. Also, when it comes to the gratitude, you're understanding the frequency, and you will be grateful after this purging process is over. You're like, let's just make it out of this year. And you're understanding that what you're going to learn, you're going to be able to pass it forward. So it's not just going to be for the twin flame journey, but it's what you can give to others that is going to benefit you as well. It's not just going to benefit others, though. It's actually going to help your external world at a manifestation level, at a financial level. You'll find when you're at the correct frequency, you won't feel the need to manifest, because you know that you have an aspect of a value inside yourself that will naturally attract those ebbs and flows. Now, your emotions, you're flowing with them, you're in harmony with them, and you're more understanding about where they're coming from. So it can be that you're visually seeing people getting triggered and you're understanding where it's coming from. So you're still having that heart chakra, the compassion, and you're holding your integrity. You're not projecting back onto other people. So it can be a time where for some of you, some of the groups of twins can actually see through people's intentions and what their intentions are, what they're doing. Yeah. Now, let's have a look what is going on for this group, and then I'll pull. I think this group is really to the point where you have an internal compass and you're everything's going to be okay, but you sort of, yeah, they're coming to get me, Carmen. Okay, now connected to integrity. It's more about who are people outside of your home. So you know, any person who is triggering you on the external, or your twin, for instance, that isn't living with you, or a home-based environment issue, it's an external related dynamic that's going to come up, and you're going to hold integrity connected to that. Now, when it comes down to you accepting the aspects of your strength, you're considering where people are placing energy into you, and you're not going to place value in people or things or situations that don't provide benefit to you. Now, it's not egoistic, so to speak. It's understanding the power you have, but not not having an intent that, hey, if I give you this, it equals that, but also keeping a balance there where you give what you want to give through the frequency of gift, but you also are balancing boundaries where you are learning that through 3D situations at the moment to be in readiness for twin or soulmate connections, so that when someone comes to you, you know, because it's, you know, when you know what you like, for instance, and what you appreciate, standing and leading by example helps the person understand that, but also you physically owning that helps them to understand and appreciate the fact that you value yourself. And if you value yourself, 9 times out of 10, if they don't, well, you're not going to tolerate it, are you? So it's a strength, but it's a humble strength. It's an internal knowing sense of strength. Now, the gratitude you're going to have again isn't it the abundance internally of what you've learned. Yes, you're going to get money, but because you're going to have the internal abundance, it's going to attract the money to you. So any of you who have been struggling with that, that's coming in. Now, with your emotions, you're not letting jealousy rule your emotions any longer, because you know who you are. You've found the light and the beauty inside yourself, and you know your value and your self-worth. So you're looking at it thinking, if people can't see what this is, they're a fool, because the light's really shining from you. Also connected to your ascension. Again, this could be connected from a time frame that this started for you. Again, it's to do with the internal abundance. But I do feel with you guys coming through this, you see the bigger picture. So you're becoming a little bit more grounded with it. And again, both of you will feel both. Both groups will feel both, but we're jumping back and forward between them depending on when the triggers and the downloads are coming through. Does that make sense? When it comes to the masculine energy, I'll tune into it separately, just for those of you who want to have a squiz. Now, for this group, oh, see, I can't pick it up because I haven't got nails. I was saying to giggle, I can't even use my typewriter. Who would have thought? Okay. At the moment, masculines are looking at aspects where they've realised there has been a flaw in their plan, and that the way they've been seeing is very different to what thought be. They also don't feel completely inspired by what they're currently doing. They can be looking at aspects of career and looking at maybe what they can do differently. They are looking at what does make them passionate and what doesn't. Some of them are feeling extremely fatigued, but it's due to the fact that they're really brainstorming ideas. Some of them are in a justice system at the moment. It sort of looks like a scale, and it's almost like something you said to them has triggered them in their mind, but it can be just justice, trying to balance the justice and the peace within their life. It can be tying up loose ends at a financial level, contracts, tenancies, anything connected to karmic energies or children. It feels legalities. Now, they've realised that a lot of the things that have happened in their 3D life is something that they've actually created themselves. Some of it isn't, but the things that they know physically in the 3D that they've created, they know they have the power to change. And a lot of light is being shed on this area. Okay, for this group of you that are feeling probably grounded, this is how masculine's going to transform. See, as this group here transforms, This group here, I'll show you what they're getting energetically. So the ones of you who aren't feeling grounded, go back to the beginning at the end and you can listen to it, and then I tune into the masculine energy. Now on this side, those of you who are releasing and you're comfortable and you're not exerting your strength, you know, one could say to better the chance of the road being successful, because when it comes down to it, when we're triggered in the early stages of the journey, we are operating from a place of ego, even to a point where we feel if we do X, Y, and Z, we'll get a better outcome. Because this group here right now isn't operating from that standpoint, it's like in the moment, this life is an acceptance of it. If you're doing that and you can stay grounded in that frequency, the truth is, your twin, another person, or whoever you end up with can come and go at any time. Now, masculine also has had this realization that the person or the people they're with can do this at any time, but they can do this as well. So they're realizing the aspect of their power. They're also realizing that what they ran from was what they wanted, and now they're wondering why the hell they did that. Okay. This 9, 10, 11. Now, a number 11 card. They're not seeing the differences, but at the time they were looking at the differences between the two of you and saying, there's just too many differences between us. Some of them are even thinking, why did I leave? Why did I go? And why am I here? And why haven't I left this current 3D situation, whatever it be? Because there's more differences in this current 3D situation than I had with twin. Some of them are also, I'm hearing, getting to a point where they're realizing, is it bad if there are differences? Does this person necessarily, or people in general, need to be exactly like me? Does this balance my yin and yang? Also, their mind is going a bit batty, and while they're trying to decipher what to do, if they are in any situations connected to karmics, it may be that they're wanting space to be able to meditate upon what they want, and they're feeling quite controlled by this 3D dynamic. Okay, now this group feels more they're dealing with feel more dealing with a different aspect. Now, in a manifestation point, I feel the group of the masculines where twin flames, if you're feeling blocked and like nothing's going to change, this group of masculines are trying to manifest something in. You're in complete exhaustion, but I feel on the 3D behind the scenes, they're trying to manifest something and they're trying to tie up loose ends. There's something you're not seeing, but it's not negative, it's positive. I feel like they are grounded, but their attitudes and their communication style is coming through quite cross-wiry if you guys are communicating. If they're processing through you when they're communicating, if they're communicating with you, try and not take their frequency off kilter. Like, don't take it at face value, but take it with a grain of salt, because they're transforming. So you're going to have to be very patient with this group of masculines. Now, this group of masculines, you guys, I feel they can pick up the frequency that you're changing and it's really triggering them. So those of you who are in that detachment phase where you're like, you know what, it is what it is, I feel they're picking up on this frequency. And part of their life on the 3D level is changing. It can be that they're moving house. It can be that there is conversations in the background with friendships, etc., where they're trying to change their 3D financial or private conversations to help them understand what they want to do. So I'm hoping this helps. This is for the weekend. Any questions while I'm here? Because I need to hit the road. Chris? Wow. That's okay, Bella. Okay. Now, overall energy can be justice, like I was saying, because I'm seeing 2 justice cards here. Now, there is hope, okay? Now, in connection to what's going on, how it's going to be, the thing is, what you're needing to understand is if you've detached, you're understanding there's hope. It's not saying you don't understand there's hope. You do understand there's hope, okay? There's a vibration you're going to physically feel. Communication for many of you is going to come in, maybe through word of mouth, gossip, or the actual person. There is also a judgment coming. Now, feminine energy connected to Juno, some of you may be in a very intense energy frequency. That is actually part of Juno, making assessments connected to twin flame journeys, masculine energies. Money at the moment is the aspect of what's being focused on at the moment, and that's feminines and masculines. So if at the moment you're trying to manifest things or move your finances forward, it is due to this point. Some of you can actually feel the frequency changing, and it is getting quite intense. Others of you are feeling as though something is about to happen or something's going on, but the fatigue is knocking you. It's a temporary energy, but something is amping up to be revealed, and I feel it's between this week, so to speak. So let's cross our fingers that all go. We have power moments, okay? Love and light.